Am I drinking coffee from a straw so I don't mess up my lipstick? Yes, I am. Yes. Yeah. Hey everyone, hi, welcome or welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be discussing the Whiskey Peak arc. Me questioning myself as to whether I said the right arc name. It is the chapters 106 to 114 in the One Piece journey, and I'm really excited to discuss it with you today. If you are new here and you do not know about the world of One Piece, but you probably do, which is why you've clicked on this video, then welcome. I have a whole playlist, I think. Yes, I have a whole playlist documenting my journey. It's been a little while since I sat down and chatted with you all, so I'm feeling a little rusty, crusty. I'm not actually feeling crusty. I'm just feeling rusty. So anyways, if you're new here and you're a huge One Piece fan and you want to know what a new reader to One Piece thinks about the first saga and all of the arcs, I have a playlist created down below. And if you don't know what One Piece is, then I will just say that it is a wonderful, amazing, magical manga story, that story told in manga that is just fantastic. And I've been documenting this over 1,000 chapter journey here on my channel. Now, if you're new and you like the vibes, I would encourage you to subscribe. Please like the video, that always helps. And I actually have a Patreon now, so you can access all my videos, including ones just like this, ad-free on my Patreon for as little as $1 a month. So that's it. Let's go ahead and get into the meat of this video. We leave Laboon the whale and we sail from that place to Whiskey Peak. And there is a little chapter in between where you see the crew, our main crew members, hanging out on the ship, and it is snowing. The only reason why I bring this up is because I made a connection. I finally, I think, put my finger on something that matters to me, and it's that there is these snowmen. Luffy makes a snowman, and I think let me see who else makes the snowman. So Luffy makes, on the ship, because it's snowing and they're collecting snow on the deck, Luffy makes a traditional snowman, and then I flip the page on my iPad and we see that Usopp makes this sculptural snow woman, and she's beautiful. And there was something about the snow that things clicked with me. The childlike humor mixed with deeper themes, deeper thoughts, the philosophical musings of Oda within One Piece, mixed with this beautiful humor that sometimes feels very silly, sometimes it feels slightly off the rails, and very much feels childlike. It's getting to like something that's very innately just young, young-hearted, young-minded. And it reminded me actually of Calvin and Hobbes by Bill Watterson. This is a comic. It was a comic strip that came out during the 80s, I believe, the 1980s. Calvin and Hobbes, I actually don't discuss this very much on my channel, my love for Calvin and Hobbes. It is one of the most important pieces of media for me in my life for a lot of reasons, and that is a story for another day. But one of the reasons why my husband and I are together today is partly because of our bond over Calvin and Hobbes. And I have just read I haven't revisited it in a while, but there is this, if you don't know anything about it, Calvin and Hobbes ran in the newspapers. It was a comic strip created by Bill Watterson, and he was in a lot of ways trying to elevate the medium of comics. He, in his comics, he talked a little bit about political things, and it was something that ran, week to week. He ended up being a really high-paying artist for this medium for quite a while, and ultimately he ended up sort of resigning that job and retiring. His collection is limited. He only did it for what seems like a handful of years, creating this comic. But what was great about it is that It's about John Calvin and someone whose last name is Hobbes, the philosopher Hobbes, who I can't remember his first name right now. The characters are inspired by that. Hobbes is a stuffed animal that Calvin sees as real, and they really do have dialogue. But he's also just a stuffed animal. So some people see Hobbes as a stuffed animal, and some people, like Calvin's parents, and Calvin is a little boy. I believe he's 6 years old. So Calvin sees Hobbes as a real creature, and they have dialogue, and their dialogue often, it can be very silly, it can be very funny, but often it renders itself into the philosophical, into like, what does life even mean? What does it mean to be good and evil? And it's beautiful. It's a beautiful, I've like rambled too long about Calvin and Hobbes. I'm so sorry. So I have a huge soft spot for Calvin and Hobbes, and it was a real delight to see that Oda, or what I perceived as, and I made this connection, that some of the humor in Oda's One Piece, and some of the philosophical ideas of Oda's One Piece really, but mostly the humor really somehow intersects, and it feels very Calvin and Hobbes-esque, because there was something about Calvin and Hobbes that the humor was just so childlike. And I think Luffy brings a lot of that out, but you see that within the banter between the characters. But there's just something almost inarticulately, ineffably childlike about both Calvin and Hobbes and Oda. I need to get off this, okay? But I just love, I love Calvin and Hobbes, and so to make that connection with One Piece is just invaluable to me. Again, it's not really like, oh, I'm not ranting about Calvin and Hobbes right now. We are talking about One Piece. The Straw Hat Crew is trying to get Mr. Nine and Ms. Wednesday to their town. And so they give them a ride to Whiskey Peak. And when they arrive, there is what is very different of a welcome than other islands. The difference is that the townsfolk of Whiskey Peak, they are like cheering and excited. The mayor of Whiskey Peak, who is like got this really incredible design. He looks like he has like hair rollers in his hair, which reminded me of like an old-timey composer judge, somebody who had like a powdered wig kind of person. and he's this quite large person, and they are just welcoming the pirate crew, which again is very, very different. It's a very, very different welcome than most of the stops that our Straw Hat Crew has seen so far. And so it's very different. And immediately the crew, Luffy, Zoro, and the like, they are invited into this town, and it feels like Sodom and Gomorrah from the Bible. Like, everyone's partying, everyone's drinking. Nami is like drinking the towns members, men under the table. Like, she is just... everyone, Luffy blows up like a balloon because he has eaten so much. I don't know why or what is with Luffy and like food. That boy loves some food, and it's like, it feels like the definition of Sin City, or just like everyone's there to have a good time, and I'm like, something is not right. Like, what is happening? And you realize that this is a ploy, and what seems like the mayor has, it has sort of developed that they lure the pirates in, get them drunk, get them sleepy on amazing food, give them whatever they want, and then like off with their heads kind of thing. And so, you know, it was just, you know, on the one hand, it was really fun to see our main characters party it up and have a great time. But on the other hand, it was like, you know, we all know something is not right. This is not the way that this should be going. And, you know, then the story does turn, and then things get what I think is really interesting. Oh yes. Okay, so I'm refreshing myself. It's been interesting. I've been taking sort of longer pauses in between reading One Piece, partly because life is a little bit busy, and partly because life is a little bit busy. Oh, and partly because I'm exploring other mangas. So, you know, I'm like refreshing myself as I'm sitting here making this video. But that's right. The island is full of bounty hunters, and they have a secret society, and everyone is like in on the bounty hunting. And what I didn't mention was that from afar, Whiskey Peak looks like cactus, like cacti, and they're not cacti. What seems like spikes on the hills of this island. The spikes are, my hair just undid. I need to go fix that. Oh my gosh. But the spikes are tombstones, or they're tombstones or graveyard stones of pirates that these bounty hunters have lured and killed in the past. And so then you realize, oh my goodness, they're really good at their jobs. Not only are they bounty hunters, but they're a part of a secret society called Baroque Works. And of course, Zoro finds this out. He was tricking everybody about how drunk he actually was, and adventure ensues. They start fighting, and it's very much in the typical magical way that Oda puts together a great fight scene. You know, it's just, I really don't know how to explain the action scenes except for that they're really fun to read and fun to look at. And so Zoro, he is, you know, battling the mayor of the town, and it's like everyone, even the nun, is in on this secret society bounty hunter business, and they're all after Zoro, which is great. And Zoro doesn't disappoint. Meanwhile, Nami, she wakes up, and Zoro was like, you know, I thought you were drunk, or I thought you were down for the count, and she was like, no, I would never let myself let loose. You know, I would never let myself go like in a sort of not unwelcome, but in an unsafe, you know, environment. She doesn't know these people, and so she only pretended to be as drunk as a sailor, but she really wasn't. And meanwhile, Sanji, Usopp, and Luffy, they're just sleeping their hearts away. Luffy is just this gigantic balloon he's this balloon because of his gum powers. So sort of amid this fight scene, and Zoro, you know, kind of unfolding what's actually happening here, two other members of Baroque Works come out. The two other people from Baroque Works that come out are Mr. Five and Ms. Valentine. Ms. Valentine's character design is fine, but Mr. Five looks like someone from The Matrix meshed with someone from, I don't know, like Victorian times or something. But yeah, he's got this coat that has a couple of fives on it, and these awesome boots, and these, wraparound glasses. And I mean, he's just an awesome looking character. And they come out. And so then the mayor of Whiskey Peak, the guy with hair curlers, he is like, oh no, my cover is blown. So it's this little nod or reveal that things aren't always as they seem, which is Oda's MO. Like, it's his modus operandus. I think that's how you say it. It's his MO. Like, he is just like, we're just gonna make these bad guys. Oh wait, they're not really bad guys. And then, and then things unfold and untangle from there. So, Mr. Five and Miss Valentine come to the town, and they've been sent from the big boss whose secret identity is not yet revealed. and they are there to kind of, I think they're there, let's see, what are they doing there? Oh yeah, it says the agents of a certain monarchy have infiltrated Baroque works. So somebody from some sort of monarchy, which we find out later is Alabasta, has infiltrated the secret society in which nobody knows who anybody is, and nobody knows who the big boss is, but the higher up your number is, the closer you are to the big boss. So number 5 is 5 away from 0, and 0 is our big boss. So, and then it's sort of revealed, the mayor's like, my cover is blown, and then he is like, I will not let you touch her, and you're like, what is happening? So I'm reading this story next to my little boy, and Mr. 5, he's there, and amid the fight with Zoro, and realizing that Baroque works has been infiltrated by spies, or by not spies, but it has been compromised in a lot of ways. So he goes and he picks his nose, and my younger son is like, oh, what is he doing picking his nose? I was like, only Oda. It's like this comical thing amid something that's quite serious. We don't want anything to happen to our beloved main characters. And so then you realize that Mr. 5 has, again, the devil fruit power. He has boom boom fruit. Boom boom powers. Anyways, so it's like his body is explosive, and so since the boogers are a part of the body, I wonder what would happen if he spit, to be honest with you. Like, since his boogers are a part of the body, it's like throwing fireballs at people. And so, they're fighting, and you're kind of realizing, like, we as the readers, or at least I as the reader, am figuring out who's good and who's bad. And you realize that Miss Wednesday is Princess Vivi of Alabasta, and the mayor of Whiskey Peak, roller hair guy, as Luffy says, is that he is her protector. And and then Luffy wakes up and just mucks everything up, really does. And he wakes up and he's like, Zoro, why would you be beating up the people of this town? They fed us, they welcomed us. And you're like, you just missed like the whole story. Like, you missed the point, Luffy. And I thought it was hilarious that like Luffy goes after Zoro and they start fighting, because when they fight, it is almost like two brothers wrestling. Like, there's no ill will or intent. I mean, maybe emotions will get heated. Maybe there will be like some harsh words thrown out, and maybe there will be damage done. But at the heart of it, they don't dislike each other. So, Luffy, in his childlike and sometimes not very intelligent mind, he goes after Zoro, and Zoro's just like, seriously, you missed the plot. Like, you literally missed the plot because you were sleeping, because you ate too much, kid. And so they start fighting, and Nami is the one that stops them. And then we get the story from Princess Vivi, like, what's happening. So we get the story of Alabasta, and the story is, according to Princess Vivi, Alabasta was once the most civilized nation on the Grand Line and the most peaceful at one time. But then the citizens of Alabasta have grown rebellious in recent years. Riots and uprisings have thrown the kingdom into turmoil. Then one day I learned of a secret organization called Baroque Works. The rumor was that agents of Baroque Works had been stirring up the citizens. But try as I might, I couldn't uncover information that would help us, according to Princess Vivi, to help us fight these criminals, because it is a secret organization. And though Baroque Works sort of has the guise that they're going to be this utopian, they're fighting for a utopia, that their goal is a utopian society, it's really not true. And then she's like, Zero is the top of the top, and I will not tell you the boss's identity, but then it slips out that it's Sir Crocodile, one of the 7 warlords of the sea. And everybody's like, you just told us, Princess Vivi, which was an accident. And we realize that Princess Vivi and Mr. 9 and her sort of protector, they are trying to infiltrate what's happening what is Baroque Works, and they're trying to like get in and amongst this group so that they can restore peace in Alabasta, which I thought was really beautiful. And then the most hilarious thing happens, that the mayor of Whiskey Peak, who is this large person who has his hair in rollers. Like, I mean, he, like, physically next to the other characters, he is at least a head taller. And he creates a decoy so that he can leave the island and hopefully get the Baroque works people, like, on his trail. But he dresses and looks like Princess Vivi, which is just fantastic. And you realize just how loyal this mayor is, and loyal to his princess, loyal to the mission, and that, you know, he really wasn't a bad guy that whole time, which is always just a wonderful thing in stories, to kind of, you know, you assume something about some person and then something else is revealed about them, which changes the way that you see them. And I really like that in literature in general, and I really like that about One Piece. So they've also talked about this idea of a log pose, which is like a compass for the Grand Line. And then there's an eternal pose, which I guess always points you back to the places that are recorded. And that instrument is introduced. And I feel like I'm just saying it aloud because I feel like that's an important key to the story later on. But I don't know for sure. So as the mayor of Whiskey Peak is on his way out, sailing out to sea, the boat, you know, it explodes, you know, and it's destroyed sort of out at sea. And you know, that it's a sad moment, you know, like this person who has been devoting himself to saving the princess and his town is, you know, he's gone, which really kind of, it bummed me out. And then as they're like the Straw Hat Pirates and Princess Vivi are sailing away, someone, you know, comes on the ship, and you realize that it's Ms. All Sunday, or Missile Sunday. It's like, the wordplay was cute. And Missile Sunday, or Miss All Sunday, she's sitting there, and she knows who Luffy is. She knows who the princess is, and what her role, what she was trying to do. She is, I think, the second in command. Let me see. She is the Baroque Works vice president and supreme commander. So I'm guessing she might be number 1, like, you know, in the lineup, or number 2 maybe. And she also has devil fruit powers. I don't know if they actually say. I don't think they say what it is yet. So, but she can, like, I don't know. She can like, you know, maybe like move her hand like this, and it seems like it slaps the person, even if they're of a greater distance away. Like, her hand doesn't actually slap them, but like the force of her hand does slap them, even though there's like distance between them. I wonder what it's called. I wonder if it's like wind powers or something. I don't know. But it's fun to think about. And you know, it's like, what is she? That's so, you know, and she's able to like grab Luffy's hat and put it on her head as she's monologuing, or as she's talking to them. And he's like, give me my hat back, because we all know what Luffy's hat means to him. And she tells them that they are headed to this place called the Little Garden, and that, you know, sort of like which I know is the name of the next arc, and it's like your fate lies there. So along with the Little Garden thing, she ends up giving Missile Sunday, she gives them an eternal pose and says that you can bypass the danger of the Little Garden with this eternal pose, which we had just figured out what that was. And Luffy, in his wonderful mind, he crushes it with his hand, the eternal pose. And of course Nami's like super angry, and she's like, what's that? And he is just like, she's not deciding what course, she, as in Missile Sunday, is not deciding what course that we're on. And so it's like he takes back that power with the eternal pose. But we all know that Luffy doesn't always make the most wise decisions, so I'm really not sure if that was a wise decision or not. I don't know yet, so we'll see. Oh, and her ship is a turtle. I love it. Missile Sunday. I know I probably shouldn't like her, but Missile Sunday's ship is a turtle. I like that. I like turtles. So Missile Sunday says the first stop, Little Garden. That should be interesting. And then we see a tiger on the Little Garden, or what seems to be the Little Garden. And then we get an overview of the tiger, and the footprints in the sand are like massive feet. Just huge. Which I feel like I'm getting Gulliver's Travels vibes with this. I don't know. With like we're going to an island. I wonder if we're going to go to an island where the people are really tiny. Ooh, that would be very Gulliver's Travels. I feel like that would also be very Oda, like very literary minded. So yeah, that's it. That's what's going on. Kind of like, what is it? It's not like an I'm sorry, but it's just to know that I am reading quite a bit of manga right now. It's not taking over my reading. I have read 7 like full length, 6 or 7 full length novels this month, or full length books. I mean, one was very short. You know, I've read I've read a good bit of books, like paper books that are not manga, but I've also read like 6 or 7 or 8 volumes of manga. And when it was that I was just reading One Piece, but since I'm so intrigued as to this new medium of art, I'm like, it's just like I am as hungry as Luffy. I am as hungry as Luffy is for food, but I am that for manga. I wish I could have said that more elegantly. So, I'm reading Spy Family. I will leave that video linked down below. I'm reading Death Note, which I might do like a initial thoughts, because the first arc is 59 chapters, and that's taking me a little while to get through. And I just started Berserk. I want to say Berserk, but I think it's Berserk because there's an R. Berserk. Berserk. Like he went berserk. Anyways, instead of berserk, like bazooka, I want to say buzz. Anyways, we're not going to get into the weeds of pronunciation. But that, and I've read only like the first, 50, 25, so 50 pages of Berserk. Y'all, so it's just been a busy time over here for my manga reading, but partly it's because it's coming from this place of like joy and curiosity, which is a wonderful place to be. And meanwhile, I'm also reading a bunch of other things. So yeah, if you have made it to the end of this video and you really enjoyed it, again, I would encourage you to subscribe. I am so grateful for every single one of you who is here. And yeah, that's it for me. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. I very much appreciate it. And I'll see you all in my next one. Bye!